That's interesting, Andreas, you mentioning about device entitlements then. Now, we know that many carriers today already have entitlements, but of course not all of them. And even those with entitlements, there are new use cases coming out all the time, especially those to support the eSIM-only devices that you spoke about. If you were looking at the entitlements ecosystem, what challenges do you see with that?
Take a look to the, for example, consumer device onboarding journey, and we take a look what value entitlement service can deliver, then we need to also take a look to why these entitlement service create some challenges for the different players. And one of the challenge, for example, is relatively long project timelines to implement and test and finally have it commercially available, such an entitlement service. There's also some relatively complex commercials in today's business, which show some upside potential to make it simpler, to make it more straightforward and make it more digital. And there's also new use cases we see because there will be new devices popping up, maybe new variables, maybe new forms of consumer IoT devices. So that is something what I see as a challenge. To address these kind of challenges, we make up our mind, jointly thought about, wouldn't it be great if a carrier, for example, could onboard themselves instead of going through a long project journey? Wouldn't it be great to have a relatively developer-centric approach? Wouldn't it be great, for example, if someone can test and add new use cases relatively seamless, as they are already pre-approved by the main stakeholders? And wouldn't it be great if such a commercial model is much more simpler? And that kind of innovative way of thinking brought our both companies towards a new service, which is called the Air on 360 Entitlement Service. The service itself focuses at the moment on Apple devices and support use cases such as voice over IP, multi-SIM, voicemail, 5G, eSIM activation, or even for sure the Apple Watch support. That is just the starting point to deliver value to the consumer industry. But there is as well other specifications on the market, maybe the GSMA TS43, or maybe the whole IoT use case, which as well could benefit from an entitlement service.
Fantastic. I mean, so it's no surprise then that G&D has an entitlement solution available that solves all these challenges. As I'm a huge fan of G&D, I'm very happy that G&D has chosen to partner with NetLync on this solution. Andreas, can you explain a little bit more about how that partnership works? And also, and I think you've touched on some of the features already, what makes Aeron 360 ES different to other entitlement solutions already available in the market?
It is always really a pleasure to work with highly motivated teams. I think that is one of the fundamental elements to make such kind of ideas work. There's also a very good fit because both companies make up their mind and say, how can we deliver value for our customers? And in today's offering, like what we call the Air on 360 Go Plus, a customer normally within, I would say, 4 to 8 weeks will be in the position to deliver and roll out eSIM management commercially towards their customers. The same approach we have taken with the Air on 360 entitlement service together with NetLync to think about onboarding of MNOs and carriers into this ecosystem. And let me briefly talk about what we have done to create a few really simple steps to become ready for entitlement service. The first one is there's a free trial. Sign up for a free trial, select the use cases you would like to go for, maybe eSIM quick transfer, maybe 5G or Apple Watch. Depending on these use cases, you will have a very comprehensive API specification, which you can go through and implement towards your backend system. And the best thing is you can test and validate it immediately at this stage. If it works properly, you get very clear messages from the service to understand where you need to kind of work a little bit more intensive or change the API calls. If that is done in this development environment, you can upgrade it towards production account and certify the use cases. And that's when you are all ready to launch it to your customers. So in today's time, the iPhone 14 in US is an eSIM only device. And one of these use cases the entitlement service is addressing, such as the eSIM quick transfer, that is something what you can very fast test it, validate it, and roll it out towards your customers to get eSIM ready in a short time to market.
Well, thanks very much, Andreas, for taking time out of your busy day to have a chat with me and for sharing your insights around the consumer and IoT markets. and also the Aeron 360 ES product that you've brought to market. It's clear to me that device entitlements is really the key to carriers being able to provide the best user experience for their customers, no matter what combination of devices they're using. And I'm really excited by the fact that G&D and NetLync, working together, have come up with this entitlement solution that not only solves the challenges that you mentioned earlier, but does it in a very cost-effective and a future-proofed way. So finally then, for anyone who's been listening to this and is interested to hear more about Aeron 360 ES, how should they go about doing that?
Oh, there are several ways to get in contact with G&D. And so we have sales teams around the globe. You can find your local representative either via the G&D webpage. We will also speak on several industry events or are part of several symposia. But you can also test it by yourself. I think that is even a very digital and easy way to do for. You can sign up for this trial account on the aeron360es.com page. And then you can apply for such a free trial and test it out by yourself. And you find out what kind of cool solution that is. We are looking forward for interested companies to jointly leverage the value of entitlement service and to make the eSIM journey really seamless.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you very much again, Andreas.
It was a pleasure, Gary. Thanks.